So Sigma has now just announced a brand new camera that has no HDMI, no media card slots to put in. The screen is fixed. There's no place to put an external mic. There's no EVF. It can only shoot what it is into it internally, and then back up whatever you can through the USB-C. It shoots 6K, but only up to 30 frames a second. It shoots 4K, apparently right now only up to 30 frames a second, and 1080 up to 120 frames a second. So, why am I actually liking this camera? What's going on, everybody? My name is James Jackson. If you're new here, I do tips, tricks, news, and reviews for the film and video making industry. So if this is content that you like, definitely make sure to come and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can stay up to date on all the content going forth. So today, Sigma announces a new series of products, including 2 new lenses, but today we're only going to be talking about the new camera that it came out, which was the Sigma BF. I like to call it the best friend camera. It is simplistically by intentional design, and a lot of people are not sure how they feel about it, and quite frankly, I don't know how I feel about it. I already saw one YouTuber that's already saying this is an instant fail, that this is not going to do well. Look, I will just say this: as much as I know cameras, he may be right, it may not do well. However, I think this is just a perfect storm of a camera to create another cult following that Sigma already had with the Sigma FP. And the reason why I bring all of this up is simply because it's clear that this camera is designed for a very, very specific intended targets. It is a full frame camera designed for people that are just trying to capture the moment in time and have a camera like that. To me, this is the biggest competitor for this is going to be something like the S9 II, which is going to be viewed in a couple ways, which we'll talk about. That's going to be its biggest competitor, and there's other cameras we could talk about as well, but that's, to me, the big one. But what intrigues me so much about the camera is just the brass cojones to simply say, we are going to throw everything out that you may want to try to rig out. No. This is the camera. This is what you work with. Take it. And we're going to keep it simple so everything can be done right there on the camera. And basically, you have this screen here. And the reason why I say it's brazen and why I like it is because I actually am happy that we got a company, not necessarily a camera manufacturer, because Sigma's not known for that, but a manufacturer that actually is trying to, do something different, even if it may be going against the masses. Because there's too many companies right now for me that are trying to just appeal to everyone, instead of just creating something that, yes, it's going to turn off a lot of people, but there's going to be a very, very specific group of people that are just going to love it for what it is. And I gotta say, the sleek design of it just being this just little brick where it's just completely magnesium alloy brick, and it's really, everything is just there. To me, this is going to be a camera considered for like traveling, vacation videos, vacation or travel content. That's where, or just on the go content. Not necessary for vloggers, because obviously the screen doesn't flip. The screen is completely fixed in. Video, while initially it does look, lacking, and it is a bit lacking, especially given the fact that, at least from the specs, there doesn't appear to be even 4K 60, let alone 6K 60, which I was okay with. I am intrigued by because the formats they have is H.264, H.265, and L-Log, which obviously no one knows what that means. Does this mean it shoots in cinema DNG? What comes out of that L-Log profile? Because at least right now, it doesn't seem like we need to be limited to any sort of like extreme compression, just given the fact that the media is internally storage. You can't put an SD card into it. You have to write to what appears to be an SSD built in it. And if it is an SSD, theoretically, we could shoot RAW. But again, we don't know what log stands for. It could just be another form of H.264 and H.265 that may be a 10-bit 422. We don't know. They are not very clear on that. I would love to, so Sigma, if you're watching this, I don't know if you are, but if you are watching it, I would love to get some clarity on what the log is. I know some people are going to also be a little bit bummed out that the ISO at base, at least in log, is going to be 1250. Personally, this is not a big deal for me, especially given the fact that this is a full frame camera, so it should be able to handle the light sensitivity of that high ISO, but also given the fact that most of us shoot at 800, we're talking about really only a half stop difference from what we all normally shoot anyway. So for me, at least, it's not as a big a deal. This is the difference between like a 2 to a 2.4. So not much of a difference there in terms of your exposure capabilities. To me, what's really, again, this is not necessarily somebody who is a professional mindset and someone that has to have full control of everything. This is someone who's just like, I just want a camera that I can put in my pocket and I can have it ready to go whenever I want to. And that's really what this seems to be aiming for. You know, even though it's a 3.2 sensor, it only shoots in 16:9, at least from the looks of it. And again, there's no HDMI port, so you can't even output any video signals to like a monitor. What has intrigued me about it as from a professional filmmaker, again, I gotta see if I ever get it in my hands, maybe we'll see. But the thing for me that intrigues me is having a camera that I can just have in my hands for like BTS when I'm mainly in either my small teams or like my one-man band teams, where I could just have a camera that I can just go in and capture BTS during my shoot times, where I could just have in my hand. Because while the Osmo Pocket 3 does kind of handle that, being the fact that it's a fixed sensor on a 1-inch sensor kind of limits what I can do with that versus a full frame 24 megapixel interchangeable camera that is very small and compact. That kind of is appealing to me for that one particular area, and $2,000 is not that far off. To me, there's going to be two major make or break points in terms of video that I think it's going to decide. For most people, I think if there is no high frame rates at all in 4K, even in a crop mode, I think this is going to basically turn a lot of people away, especially given the fact that, you know, a lot of people use slow motion for content and content creations. The fact that there's no like 4K 60, it appears that's the case. That's kind of a big deal, where you have the only slow motion options are 1080. Not that you can't do anything with 1080, especially given AI, where you can, you know, scale things, but having something where we're not trying to do so much post work and process work. Having 4K 60 should be a no-brainer, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. But even for all those people that may just say, I can buy all that, I'll shoot 1080, I have no problem with that. To me, what really will make or break this camera is the screen, because Sigma is basically hedging that everything will be done with that screen there, and the quality that you get from that screen is going to be good enough to basically do all your content with. And that's a pretty ballsy move, because you don't have any other options. You can't add an external recorder if you want a little bit more clarity. So this screen has to be close to like Blackmagic design level quality in terms of screens, because to me the screens on the Blackmagic designs are like awesome, amazing. Some of them where you have to calibrate them, but you know, the quality of that screen, especially on something like the cinema camera full frame, it is such a beautiful screen on there. A high bright screen that can put into any environment, and it has the same thing here in high HDR screen. That is really going to be the make or break to me for this camera, because if that screen doesn't work, this thing will fall apart because you don't have any other options. Overall, I would say I am very intrigued and very interested at just the shooting experience with this camera for traveling just with my family, traveling for vacations, but mainly for my, in terms of more in a lot of my professional work, I'm very intrigued about it for like being able to grab BTS content real quickly to shoot and grab it. However, its biggest competitor is going to be the S9, because there's so many other features that comes with that S9. You get open gate, even though it's not my favorite format, you do get it. You have a fully articulated screen that you can flip it any way you want. You have a log profile, and you have many different codecs that you can shoot in. You got media cards right there. You have a HDMI out to where you can shoot to external recordings. There's a lot more various options. But I think that's kind of the point that Sigma's trying to go here with this camera. They're trying to not let you boggle down and trying to just like build the perfect camera. Instead, they're like, just get your butt out there and just go shoot. That's kind of the message that they're trying to do. It's like, just get out there, go shoot content. Anyways, I would love to know what you guys think about this new camera. Are you guys interested at all like I am? I really am very interested by it, and the price point is not too far off that I'm like turned off about it. It's just like borderline there at $2,000, but it's just there where I'm just like, I just might. But what would you guys think? Let me know. Leave your comments down below. And as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, take care, everyone.